Hey everyone, Mark here at Discover Your Home, and tonight I'm going to give you a quick kind of primer of what it takes to remove wall covering and get ready for paint.
Sounds good.
And this isn't going to be elaborate, so I'm just going to kind of quick talk you through it. It's the weekend, you're like, oh, I'm ready to take this wallpaper down. What do I got to do? Okay, so hopefully this helps you. It's real basic. First and foremost, don't panic. It's wallpaper. If for some reason it is an absolute nightmare, I can give you other steps to move forward by priming and going over the top of it. There's many ways to deal with that situation. So we're going to talk about your typical wall covering, and what that is it's what they call it has generally a vinyl faced paper. Okay, so there's paper on the back and there's kind of a vinyl face on front, and it's not a real thick paper. It just has enough vinyl on it to really give it a durability factor to it. So that's what we've got. That's what in most homes. There's other types of papers. We're just going to specifically talk about that. So how do you know if that's what you got? If you want to take a little bit of a razor and score it a couple times and wet it, and you'll start to see kind of where the X's are at. That's generally a paper-backed vinyl, and that's what I would say in probably 95% of the situations you're going to see, and it's probably what's in your home. So how do you address taking that off? Okay, so a couple different ways. You can saturate it with water or a product called diff gel or diff spray. A lot of times what that starts with is you score it with a tool called a paper tiger. I don't have one with me. Or take a razor and lightly score the surface of the paper, put the gel on and lift it off. A lot of times all it takes is just take either that gel or warm water with some diff solution in it, roll it on, let it set, and it'll start to bubble up because that paper is not thick enough. That vinyl is not such a thick enough coating. The scoring just allows that water to get under the surface. Okay, so we got our paper. We put on we score it, or we cut it with a knife very lightly. We put our gel on, and it comes off. It comes off in big sheets. The longer you let it wait to let that water transfer through the paper to get to the paste to soften, a lot of times it'll come off in large sheets, and sometimes it'll come off in smaller pieces. If it comes off in smaller pieces, you may need to re-wet and just keep it as soft as possible and as damp as possible, and then see if you can pull off bigger pieces. Be patient here. This is the key. Patience is really the key, because I know a lot of times we get in there, we want to get it going, and we end up taking this thing down 2 inches apart the whole way, and it takes you 8 hours to do it, and you're not happy about it. Sometimes being a little more patient is really is what you need to have. Okay. Once that is done, and you get everything kind of cleaned off there, take your diff solution or just warm water, wash down the walls, get as much paste off. You can take your fingernail and scrape, and you'll feel if there's pastel on there. It'll kind of get under your nail. It's thick, it's gummy. Comes off great. Get as much as you can. Use a good quality primer. I recommend a product I like to use called Gardz. Seal it up, and you're ready to paint. Of course, I didn't put every step or everything that you're going to need in there, but I would highly say you're going to need something to score the paper. You're going to need some sort of solution to get it off, water and or say a product called diff or diff gel. You probably wouldn't hurt to have a scraper. Don't use a scraper too much because you can really damage the walls. Okay. I would say after with the paper tiger or a razor to score it, you're really kind of on your way. And just take your time and be patient. Just know you set yourself, a typical, say, a 5x5 bathroom that with the paper comes off relatively easy with an 8-foot high ceiling should take you, I would say if it comes off relatively easy, should take about 2.5 to 3 hours. If you're not used to doing it, just figure double your time, okay? But the more patient you become, the more you score the whole room down, okay, and get it wet and let it set and keep it damp, the easier it'll come off. You'll be surprised on how rewarding it is just to be patient in doing this process. And then you're ready to go. Seal up the walls after you've repaired them. Sometimes people say, oh, my walls started to bubble. And well, a lot of times because they didn't seal up the repairs with the drywall compound or the spackling where they nicked the wall or whatever, you need to make sure all of that is sealed up, because you're creating a brand new surface here to paint over, okay? Just always remember that what you're doing here is trying to get it back to kind of square one and get it to a point where the surface is all even and everything is going to go over the top of that surface, okay? So everything needs to be sealed up, including the repairs. So these are some small, quick tips. If there's more questions, send them on down. Thank you again for joining me. I'm Mark, and this is Discover Your Home. We'll see you soon.